Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Sienna here with a brand new pick a card video, and in today's readings we are going to get a message from your inner child. And I thought for today's readings it would be interesting to not just get a message from your inner child, but a message that pertains to a situation you're currently facing in your adult life. I believe that children have a type of wisdom that's often overlooked by adults, and I think that our inner child is no exception to this. Anyway, this time I'm doing something a little bit different. I have 4 groups here. We have group 1 with our little guy Ness and our white howlite bracelet, courtesy of Otter Spirit. Thank you to Otter Spirit for sponsoring my channel and for helping me by providing such lovely quality bracelets for me to share with the rest of my community. Group 2 is Paula with our multicolor morganite bracelet. Group 3 is Jeff with our green peridot bracelet. And group 4, this little guy's name is Pooh, and this is our hematite bracelet. So we have groups 1, 2, 3, and 4 with our earthbound stickers of Ness, Paula, Jeff, and Pooh, white howlite, multicolor morganite, green peridot, and hematite. So take a minute to think about your situation and think about which group, which bracelet, which sticker, whatever gets your attention, and then you can jump to your reading at the timestamp listed in the description and in a pinned comment. So with that, I think we're ready to go. Okay, so group 1, if you were drawn to Ness or the white howlite bracelet, or just the fact that it was group number 1, this will be the inner child message that you need to hear that pertains to your current adult life situation. Oops, I gotta stop bumping my thing. Anyways, I'm gonna put Ness aside for now. I guess I'll just put this on. We're going to start actually with an oracle card from Cheryl Lee Harnish's Path of the Soul Destiny cards. Lovely deck. I don't use these oracle cards nearly enough on this channel, so I thought it would be nice to use them again today. A message, Spirit, for group 1 from their inner child that has to do with their current life, their current situation. What do they need to know? I'll try that again. There. And you'll have to excuse my voice. The wildfire smoke has been so bad around my area that it is a little bit hard to breathe and not have a dry, scratchy throat all the time. But anyways, I'm still here and you are here and I'm glad. Now, group 1. Okay. Card number 6 from the Path of the Soul deck. The imagery here often reminds me of like breaking free from the matrix, breaking free from the mold, like thinking outside the box, doing something quite different. But let's get into the guidebook. I'm going to just set this aside here. Get into the guidebook. Card number 6, that one was, breakthrough. There's a thin veil which separates us from other dimensions of existence. You are now energetically breaking through this veil. You may be experiencing knowings or feelings of other dimensions. Your consciousness is moving beyond this 3rd dimensional realm. Embrace the moments of clarity and understanding that flow with this greater knowing. As you break through the veil, you are in closer contact with your guides and other divine beings who are here to aid you on your journey. I wonder, group 1, if you guys were quite psychic. I'm just going to say quite psychic as little kids. And maybe you weren't aware of that, or it was shut down early on or something. But there is this, I am getting this, that you had I'm going to call it breaking the 4th wall. You had a lot of moments where you broke the 4th wall, where you became I'm going to say more than just self-aware. You became aware of like the energy that's beyond ourselves. Okay, we have the Sun card. Eight of Pentacles could suggest 8 years old for some of you. The Star, I have to... I gotta censor. You guys have heard my rant about this multiple times. Gotta censor some of my lovely cards here. Anyways, we have the Sun, the Eight of Pentacles, the Star. Well, you know what? First, let's take a look at the Sun card. There's the essence of joy, childlike joy, just excitement, curiosity for daily life, curiosity for the world around you. I'm getting admiration and I'm getting awe, as in like being in awe of the world around you and the beauty that surrounds you. You know, young children, very, very young children, do tend to be more open to the divine. They tend to be more, I'm going to say maybe psychically aware, though they may not be consciously aware of the fact that they're psychically aware. And it seems as though, yes, there at some point when you were a young child, I'm going to say 8 or younger, 8 and younger, that it was like you were always connected, or part of you was always connected to this like divine, well, to source, to the divine. Some will say to God or to God's love. And perhaps things felt easy, things felt safe inside, because sometimes our outer circumstances are a little bit different. But there's something here with that Sun card about getting back in touch with the childlike joy. Eight of Pentacles, there's you have work to do, but the Sun is like, but it's okay to enjoy it. You know what? I'm going to just scoot everybody down a little bit here. For those of you who perhaps did not have a very secure or enjoyable or safe childhood, the Sun card, excuse me, the Sun card, I do feel is your inner child really wanting to feel that safety, really wanting to express himself or herself, and really wanting to get in touch with that sense of joy, with the source, right? The source being what I just called a minute ago. You can call it spirit, divine, God, whatever. That you know, you can like receive joy from, or be able to channel this joy from. Eight of Pentacles, I said there's work to do. For a lot of you who chose this pile, I really strongly feel that age 8 is about the time where I'm going to say some of the tougher lessons in life kicked in, where life's curriculum got quite difficult. And it's like that's where your real life's work began, was about the age of 8. This could also be, you know what, it's interesting. Again, with this whole age 8, like I was saying that young children are quite strongly connected to the divine, or can be quite sensitive psychically. And then sometimes it gets shut down, or gets, I'm going to say, forgotten about, as you or us or whatever, as a child receives more and more messaging, I'm going to say messaging from the adults around them on, well, this is who you are, and this is how to be, and these are the rules to follow to be a human in our society, or in our culture, in our community. And these extra filters get added on to you, and added on to who people think that you are, and who you come to think that you are, or learn that you are, through other people, if that's making sense. And it's not that it took away some of that childlike joy, but it did make it a little bit more difficult to access. I have the Star card here saying that you still have access to this spiritual connection. You still have access to the love and joy of the divine. It doesn't matter how old you are, there's always room within you for childlike joy. I'm going to get a couple more tarot cards here. Okay, we had 10 of Swords wanted, yeah, okay. 10 of Swords wanted to come out. I'm going to pull a couple more, and then we'll get into those. So how does all this pertain to adult life? Okay. 10 of Swords. Again, for those of you who had difficult circumstances growing up, I'm getting here with 10 of Swords that is over. You are safe. Your inner child wants to know that they are safe, that they're not in danger anymore. So it may be very worthwhile, very helpful, I'm going to say to you, because your inner child is still you, to take a minute and just reassure yourself, reassure your inner child, hey, we're safe now. I am taking care of you. You are safe. We are safe because I'm taking care of you. 4 of Wands, yes, there's work to do, but like I'd mentioned earlier, it's okay to enjoy it. You can still find there's peace and harmony with this one. I'm getting like there's bliss. It's very simple. You don't have to do great, great big achievements in life. You don't have to do, I guess, what our world would consider great things. Like you don't have to come up with the next big scientific breakthrough. You don't have to invent the next useful invention that's going to help mankind for centuries to come. You don't have to really do anything to still feel like you deserve this joy, this peace. To still, to still have like, I'm hearing a valid life, a good life, a valid history. And for those of you who maybe weren't very, I'm going to say very spiritual, or weren't raised perhaps spiritually, were maybe discouraged from learning about spirituality, perhaps, it could have just been you were raised around people that were very rational and logical and were very material oriented, It was like, well, if you can't prove it with science, then it's not real. You have not missed your chance to develop a spiritual connection, to develop your psychic skills, to develop any kind of like a spiritual path, just because that's not how you were raised. So that's another important message. Your inner child is also saying, I'm being drawn back to this 4 of Wands with the simplicity, the harmony, and the peace, that they just really want to enjoy life in a safe and simple and caring environment, even if that safe and caring environment is within your adult self. Magician, anything can happen. I'm hearing that. Anything can happen. Your inner child is very impressed because, well, you as an adult, you now have the skills. I'm going to just scoot this down a little. Okay, you now have the skills, physically, you have the physical strength, you have the mental fortitude, you have the education required, you have the benefit of being an adult. So legally, you have privileges that your inner child or your child self never had, to be able to make certain things happen in your life, to be able to change your circumstances, to be able to, to manifest what it is that you desire, to be able to bring your ideas to fruition, to be able to bring your, pretty much like your dreams or your wishes into reality. They want you to use this power that you have, the power of adulthood, the power of independence, that, you know, that they did not have, that you did not have when you were a little kid. So the messages here from your inner child: 1, they want to know that they are safe now, and that any circumstances that were harmful, you know, to you when you were young, your inner child wants to know that that is over, that they are not going to be hurt, and that you are going to protect them. They want you to know that, yeah, your life's work started quite young. And I guess our life's work starts from the, you know, the minute we first take a breath, but the really tough stuff, the really, I'm going to say like if I compare it to school, like the really hard curriculum, it's like that was the part of your life where that began quite early on, about age 8. And then, you know, your inner child also wants you to know that they had like a spiritual connection back then. Maybe you were aware of it, maybe you weren't, and that they want you to get back in touch with that spiritual connection, that divine love and peace and joy. They also want you to know that you are capable of establishing spiritual connection, psychic skills, you know, whatever you want to call that or do with that, and that you have the independence, you have the abilities, the tools, the skills you need to accomplish things that you could not accomplish, or you're able to have more control over your life situations than your inner child ever had control over. So they want you to exercise this control, this independence, your power of adulthood. Okay, so that is what I have for you, group 1. These are just short messages. It is hard to do longer messages when I don't really have much of a voice to work with. But that's what I see for you here. I hope this was helpful to you. If you liked this video, I mean, you know what to do. Like, sub, comment, whatever. And I'll see you around next time on my channel. Okay, group 2. If you were drawn to Paula, the Morganite bracelet, or, you know, just the fact that it was group number 2, this will be your reading. These will be your messages, what your inner child wants to tell you that can still pertain to your adult situations and your adult life, I guess, overall. So we're going to start by using a Path of the Soul oracle card here. So Spirit, what is the message for group 2? Oh my goodness, come on. What is the message for group 2 from their inner child that they need to know right now that best pertains to their life situations right now? What do they need to know? Okay, we have card number 29. This one is so pretty. It's some of my favorite colors, but the flowers here always make me think of like blooming and growing, that you're always growing. There's beauty in our growth. I'm getting something about there's beauty in the struggle. And there's just something, I don't know, just so beautiful about this. And there's a love energy connected to this. I'm getting something about labor of love. But this is card 29. I'm going to put it over here. We're going to look in the guidebook. Oh yeah, this is the friendship card. There's a great amount of love and support available to you. Friendship represented by the infinity symbol, which I think you can kind of maybe see here. This overall big design in the back. Is forever. Trust the bonds you have created with others. Know that the greatest gift you can give is your friendship. It is in giving that we receive the most. Offer your support where you can, and remember to ask for support when you need it. Your friends are the very souls you have chosen to journey with in this lifetime. They are an important part of your growth and learning. I am feeling just drawn to tell you guys that this friendship is also your friendship with yourself, your relationship with yourself. So that's one big message I'm getting. Your inner child wants to let you know, like, well, yeah, I guess first that it's fine to ask for help. It's fine to have support from others. But again, with like the blooming, the growing, the beauty, and the struggle, that's a heavy energy that I'm feeling. Some of you perhaps very, very early on developed a poor self-image, a poor self-esteem, you know, from circumstances. It could have been from bullying. It could have been from other mistreatment in your environment. It could have just, there are so many different reasons why a child can develop a low self-esteem at such a young age. But there's something about like your inner child is urging you to be friends with yourself. Because he/she was not friends with themselves. Was very dependent perhaps on other people's validation quite at that quite young age. But let's get some tarot messages. Definitely though, yeah, they're urging you to befriend yourself. Your inner child needs a friend. Befriend yourself, befriend your inner child, but your inner child is yourself. But let's see what else we get here. Ooh. Okay. Those ones are a little tough to shuffle. I've used these so much. Okay, all right, that one wants to fall out. Okay, Seven of Wands, on guard. I'm getting on guard, defense, protective, fiercely protective. I'm hearing fiercely. I wonder how many of you have developed, what do they call that in psychology? Avoidant or dismissive attachment style? Avoidant, where it's like, I don't need anyone. I guess that could be considered dismissive as well, but I don't need anyone. I'm here to protect myself. I'm just looking out for myself because I can't trust anyone. Okay, your inner child is still sometimes on guard. Guarded heart. I'm literally seeing in my mind's eye the image of, it's a heart, you know, the classic heart with it's got like a brick wall surrounding it. Okay, Page of Wands. Did you always have to justify, or felt like you had to justify why you made a certain decision, why you had certain opinions, why you liked certain things? You felt you always had to back up your interests, your ideas, things like that, and have to convince others that it was valid. I guess we could put these here. They'll still be in frame. And then Death card. Something has to change. Something has to change. Okay. First, I think maybe I'm just getting context or something about perhaps your early years. Yeah, there's the defensiveness, having to justify and explain yourself all the time. And then you got to a point where something kind of just snapped or broke or whatever you want to call that within you. And you're like, I can't do this anymore. Something has to change. Some of you went from like seeking this validation and defending yourself and your decisions and fighting for approval, perhaps, for your decisions, and to just, some of you just didn't consult anyone when you were going to do anything. You just went and did your own thing. And, you know, whether other people liked that or not. Some of you maybe became people pleasers. kind of doubled down on the validation seeking. And it's not to shame or throw shade at anybody. These are all behaviors that we adapt, based on, depending on our circumstances and what's going on. It's a survival thing, more or less, right? And you were young, so this is just you doing the best you could do with what you understood at that time in your childhood. But yes, there was a personality shift that happened. Some of you were like, well, screw it, I'm going to just go and do that anyway, whether you like it or not. And then some of you, it's like some of you just gave up on having ideas of your own. That you just kind of went along with everybody else and you asked other people's opinions, and you put other people's interests and ideas and stuff before your own. You just totally disregarded your own. Or you just never really took credit when you deserved the credit. Because you were tired of always feeling like you had to explain and justify to others. Now let's take a look at how this is applying to your adult life. What this means for your adult life, your adult situations. I'm hearing if they are your true friends, they will support your ideas or offer constructive criticism, constructive advice, or they'll make it known that their opinion is just their opinion. Interesting. Okay, Ace of Cups. Hierophant. Oh, I love this. I love this very, very much. Okay, so first of all, with the friendship messages, yes, there is still that lingering message of befriend yourself. Your inner child wants you to befriend them. They need a friend. But to also, if you have good people now around you, to let your inner child know, hey, I am with good people. These are secure relationships, if of course that is true, and these are secure friendships and healthy relationships in your life. To let your inner child know, it's okay. We did let the guard down a little bit with this person, and it turned out well. So, maybe it's safe to let the guard down just a little bit, for the next person who wants to befriend us, for the next person who is interested in us and is interested in getting to know us. Now, that doesn't mean don't protect yourself, but your inner child wants you to just kind of loosen that grip of control just a little bit, just to be a little more flexible when it comes to letting people get to know you. Ace of Cups, I'm getting, is also saying in your adult life, it is okay to think back on your childhood and the times you felt you always had to defend yourself and explain yourself and all that. It's okay to look back at that time and feel frustrated. I'm getting that there is some righteous anger, I don't blame you for being angry over that. Or yeah, of course you'd be angry. You deserve to be mad over that. Or well, no wonder that affected you so badly. What a terrible thing to say to a child. Or that's not the way an adult should support a child's learning and growth, or, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's okay to look back at that. It's okay to release your emotions if you're still storing sadness, resentment, anger. If you try not to think back on those times because you know, oh, that is going to make me cry, or oh, that's going to make me mad all over again, let that happen. Let yourself cry it out. Let yourself be mad over it. Give your inner child permission to cry and to have that angry outburst. Give your inner child permission to then, after you and them, I'm just going to say, sit through those emotions and experience them. Give your inner child permission to regulate themselves, to soothe themselves, And you can do this by telling yourself, I'm safe now. And by validating the feelings your inner child had. No, of course that was not fair, or that was really sad, or, that was really scary. I'm so sorry that you experienced that. That was not your fault. And, your mileage may vary. You may have to adjust what you say to yourself. You can say these things in your mind or out loud or write them down. Make a song about it, journal about it, however you want to do that. Your inner child just needs to know that it's safe to release the feelings that have been trapped, the feelings they have about like the circumstances that they were in / you were in back then. And yeah, to know that it's safe to sort these feelings out and to regulate and to self-soothe. Hierophant. With that Page of Wands, the ideas and the ideas, the creation, the seeking validation, etc. The ideas that you have are actually very good. And I'm seeing Hierophant, this can be your workplace, or it could be your, like maybe you are in university or college, your post-secondary, your education. It can be at your workplace or within your post-secondary education or whatever you call that. your school, let's just say in your school. Your ideas are very valid. They're very useful. And I'm getting innovative, they're creative, and people need to hear them. Now, do other people need to like your ideas and agree with them? No, but it's safe if they don't. You don't owe an explanation for every single thing that you think, say, do, want, create, etc. Your inner child wants you, I think, to let them know that is safe. They really, really want you to exercise your ability to share your thoughts, your feelings, your ideas. Because again, there's something like it's very beneficial to either to your workplace or to your projects or to your educational path. I'm hearing, hate to see a good idea go to waste by not being shared. Even if it's a rejected idea or others don't understand the idea, it doesn't mean that it was not valid and does not mean that it was not worth sharing. And your inner child really, really, really wants you to show them this by, and this is more difficult, I think, than I'm going to make it sound, but by putting your ideas out there, by participating in lectures or in work meetings, if you feel called to do so, and if an idea that you have is relevant to what you're working on, etc. But to just try that. And then the personality change, the death card with that shift, that transformation. Your inner child wants you to know with this Queen of Wands that, like, they want to know that it's safe to be creative again. And they also want you to know, Group 1 had a similar message, that you have the power of adulthood, that you have the freedom to think outside the box. I'm hearing to color outside of the lines. And for that to be okay, and for that to be valid, and for that to be good enough. Why am I seeing, it's a coloring page and it's a tree, and somebody has given this tree purple leaves and like a pink trunk and like, just all the, I'm going to say air quotes, wrong colors. And it's still very creative, but it just wasn't generally accepted by the adult who was looking over the creation you made, right? Your inner child wants to know that it's safe to be creative again, to, like I had just said, to be creative, to think outside the box, to come up with ideas that may seem unusual to others. Maybe the ideas seem unusual to yourself, but to just allow yourself that freedom to try things, that freedom to make things. To some of you, maybe you used to do creative things, like you used to write stories when you were young, or maybe you used to draw or paint or play music, and it just seemed like the particular, let's say the particular type of art that you would create, maybe other people around you didn't understand it, so they thought, oh, it's ugly, or oh, that's disturbing, or oh, that's just not that great, that looks really, really messy. But to you, it's like, no, that's art. That's an expression of my creative self. That's an expression of who I am. Your inner child wants you to get back into that creative mode. I'm going to say creative mode. Is that not a Minecraft setting, creative mode? Anyways, whatever. To make things and do things because that makes you happy, because you are passionate about it, not because it will get a good response from other people. Get back into doing your disturbing art, or your messy art, or your silly stories, or your horror stories, or your whatever it was that you would do that was not generally approved of by the adults around you. You are now the adult, and you can give your inner child and their creative stuff the validation that they really crave. You can give that to your inner child. So what I'm saying is you can give that to yourself. Okay, so that is what I have for you. I hope that was helpful. I do have to keep these readings somewhat short. It is very hard to do these with the wildfire smoke hurting my voice and my throat a little bit, but I did want to come back on and start making videos for you guys again. I know it had been a while. If you liked this video, you know what to do. Like, comment, sub, whatever. Private readings are open over the summer, so if you wanted to look into this in more detail or in a more personalized way, there is a link to my booking page, and it is in the description. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time on my channel. Okay, group 3. If you were drawn to Jeff, or the green peridot bracelet, or just the fact that it was group number 3, this will be your reading. These will be the messages for you. We're going to start with a Path of the Soul Oracle card. And we're going to get a look at something your inner child wants you to know that still pertains to your adult life and situations that you face today. So let's see what we get. Ooh. Okay. You got card 36. I am loving these bright colors. I'm loving this. It's very, it's not a proper word, but I get the word sunshiny. It's very, like bubbly. It's very energetic. It's very, it's fun. It's very fun, and it's very creative with all of these rainbow colors. There's something just so like joyful about seeing that. Oops, that's out of frame. But that was number 36. So let's take a look in the book, what that's all about. Revealed is what it says. Do you know how beautiful you truly are? It's time to stop hiding from the world. The universe is calling you. You have so much to offer and so much to give. This card is a reminder for you to see who and what you truly are. You are a part of the one. You are beautiful and perfect in every way. When you hide yourself, you are withholding not only your energy, but your love. Love for yourself and love for others. Embrace yourself and all of your quirks. We all have them. Let yourself be free. Let yourself shine. So, you know, I really wouldn't be surprised if some of you who chose this pile, or most of you chose this pile, were quite shy as children. Or were quite insecure, were quite anxious maybe. Some of you were told that you were too much. That you were too much. And maybe it was literally being told you are too much, or you're too much for me to deal with, or maybe it was just, you know, implied through other people's reactions to you, the way that other people treated you. You're not too much. You were never too much. I'm hearing different people have a different threshold for personality. You're full of personality. Your energy is so vibrant. You guys are probably great people to be around. Just the energy I'm picking up. Yeah, it's so vibrant. I'm getting jovial. It's so joyful. It's so silly, but it's a good kind of silly. It's the kind of silly that brings levity to a heavy world. Is it levity? Is that? Anyway, it lightens things up, brings some light to a heavy world, to a dark world. Other people's threshold for personality is not an indicator of whether you are too much or not enough, right? Yeah, that was a lie. That was a big fat frickin' lie. Before I get too excited over the Seven of Swords, I will finish up this King of Wands here. You're naturally a very charismatic and very, some of you maybe developed more introverted traits as a result of not wanting to be too much, but your inner child was for sure so, just so willing to be a vessel for love and joy, for the divine, of the divine, to channel that energy in such a tiny human body form, to bring light, again with that, bringing light to other people, bringing joy and bringing, there's pleasure, like it's emotional pleasure, like, oh, I'm just so pleased to see you. Oh, I'm just always so much happier after spending time with you. Anybody who told you that you were too much, that you were annoying, that you had to tone it down to be liked, that you had to hide parts of yourself to be deemed acceptable, that was such a lie. Oh, Moon card. I'm going to let that one fall out. And that really hurt your mental health. It really, I'm not going to say stunted. No, yeah, Spirit's telling me to say stunted. Okay. For some of you, perhaps it did stunt some of your social emotional development, which in turn can really be harmful to your mental health. Hiding aspects of yourself with the moon, maybe people see just the outer you, right? And they're like, oh, well, they're so refined. They're so put together. Or, oh, what a well-mannered little child. Oh, she was such an easy child, or he was such an easy child to watch for you this afternoon. They were so good. They were so quiet. They didn't get into any mischief. They, all of these, they were so mature. They were so responsible. But really, they were seeing the mask, basically, that you were forced to develop and put on at such a young age. It was hard for you, especially the earlier in life that this kind of happens, it was hard for you to develop a full sense of who you are, or who you were, who you are. I'm seeing the image of, I'm seeing wildflowers just growing wherever and then being mowed down. I'm also seeing like a vine or a plant or something that all it wants to do is grow, and it just wants to, pop out its leaves and its flowers and express itself and its beauty. And it can't really help growing so fast. It can't really help being so, excuse me. I'm getting the word invasive. I'm now seeing like an ivy plant. Other people may see that as an invasive plant because of how quickly it grows, but it's also a very beautiful plant. And for those who want to grow that in their garden or have that growing along the side of their house, like some people love that and think, oh, this is just gorgeous. It really adds some natural decor to my home. And then you have people that are constantly cutting it back and spraying it with the herbicide or pulling it out from the root. And I feel like what happened with you, oh, okay, we have 2 that fell out. What happened with you when you were quite young was that you had people around you, adults around you that tried to, they thought they were nipping certain undesirable behaviors in the bud. They wanted you to be mature. They wanted you to not be so childish, even though you were literally a child back then. That was never a reflection when people treated you like that back then, when adults treated you like that back then. It was never a reflection of you not being good enough or you being, like we'd mentioned earlier, too much. It was them not being able to understand those who were different, basically, who were different from them. It was that person not being able to handle a type of energy that perhaps just didn't really jive with them. And that was never your fault, and it never should have been your problem. That was the problem of that adult or those adults. I need a drink of water. Hang on, guys. Interesting. We have with temperance healing. And I'm going to go back to the wild plant examples, or the ivy plant example, where, you know, all your life you were pruned back and you were, I'm hearing like literally like clipped and edited and censored, and you had to be such a way that was presentable to others, but it didn't really allow you to fully grow and develop yourself. This temperance is saying you can heal that. Your inner child wants you to know that you can heal from that. Your inner child wants you to know that this energy that everyone else used to think was too much is still part of who you are. And you've never been too much. Sometimes personalities just don't mesh, and that's okay. Maybe, you know, around you when you were young, there just weren't a lot of other people who would mesh with your type of personality, your quirks, your little silly unique things about you. Oh, excuse me. I would not be surprised if those of you, maybe not all of you, but many of you who've chosen this pile are neurodivergent in some way. You know, whether you were a little kid with ADHD that was constantly getting in trouble for not staying still, when you literally physically could not do it because it would cause your body pain, or it would cause you emotional dysregulation or some kind of like distress. And they just did not understand that, or just weren't willing to accept that as an explanation. Or, you know, perhaps maybe you have really intense special interests, and other people just could not understand your passion for something that they deem as so arbitrary or so silly. But to you, it was very important, and you became very well versed in something, or you became very good at something. Your talents that had to do with your special interest really blossomed and bloomed. But the other people around you thought, oh, but that's going to get you bullied, or oh, but other people are not going to understand that or appreciate that. That was a lie. That was not true. You can heal. I love this, that you can heal from this. Your inner child is telling you you've been a mature, grown adult, a little adult, from the time that you were too young to be acting like a little adult. Childlike expressions could have been punished or heavily criticized when you were young. Oh, don't cry over that. I'll give you something to cry about. Oh, stop being so immature. Or maybe you were sad and you took a deep breath and your mom or your dad was like, stop being so huffy, stop sulking, stop pouting. And all you were trying to do was regulate. Or maybe for those who are a little bit neurodivergent, maybe you stimmed a lot. Like, for example, when I'm dysregulated or bored or overstimulated, I tend to rock a little bit, whether that's side, foot to foot, or that's when I'm sitting, just kind of rocking in my chair. or I bounce my leg is another thing I do. There are many self-stimulating regulatory behaviors that people take part in. But maybe when you were a child, you were made fun of or criticized or punished for doing those stims, for doing whatever it was that you felt you needed to do back then to regulate your feelings and soothe yourself. Maybe you were punished for trying to self-soothe. It was not right and it was not fair, and you never deserved to be treated that way. Your inner child wants you to know that silliness, that light, that humor, that creativity, all of those quirks, those are all still a part of you, and they are all still valid and beautiful parts of you, even if other people don't seem to understand or appreciate it. It's not about what other people understand and appreciate. It's about what you understand and appreciate about yourself. I'm getting like, again, be silly. Doodle and draw on paper. Color outside the lines, you know? Dance, sing. Laugh at something silly on TV, tell jokes, you know, watch silly things, whatever. Yeah, I just keep getting like silly things, read silly books, watch silly things that you find funny. Lean into that and find more of it. Find more of what makes you laugh. And you know, if you feel like your best self, like when you're alone, you feel like your happiest self when you're just by yourself with your own quirks and your own little creative things that you do. Like, your inner child is saying, keep doing that. Because when you, as an adult, do these things, you know, like I'd said, like do an activity or a hobby or something that you had always wanted to do or you liked to do, but was not really approved of by those around you at the time. I don't know why I'm doing this posh voice now, but the more you do that and the more you allow yourself to just be who you are, to be silly, to be emotional, to be charismatic and outgoing, to just be bubbly and joyful, the more your inner child heals. And your inner child is you, right? So the more that you heal your inner child, the more you heal yourself. The more you heal yourself as an adult, the more that you heal your inner child. And those are all the messages that I have for you, group 3. I hope that this was helpful. I do have to keep these relatively short. It is hard to do these readings when the wildfire smoke in my area has been so bad that it literally dries out my throat and mouth and makes it very, very hard to speak. So I'm going to have to end the reading there. If you liked this video, you know what to do, like, sub, comment, whatever. Private readings are open over the summer. There is a link in the description where you can book with me. And with that said, you guys, thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next time on my channel. All right, group 3, if you were drawn to the Earthbound character Pooh, or the hematite bracelet, or just the fact that it was group number 3, this will be your reading, and these will be your messages. Now, first, I'm going to get the rest of these cards out. I'm going to get a message from the Path of the Soul Oracle cards. Oops, these are backwards. A message from your inner child that still pertains to your situations in your adult life today. What does your inner child really, really want you to know right now? Let's give these a good shuffle, and then we'll see what we get. Okay. Group 3, what's their message? What do they need to know from their inner child? Okay, you got number 29. This one is just without looking in the guidebook. I do remember this one is like a friendship card. It's about like the beauty of the relationships in your life and having loving, caring connections with others, but also with yourself. I'm also getting just a message of growth, keep growing. There's this beauty, again, yeah, beauty and growth, beauty in your growth. But I know that this one is a friendship card. I've seen this one before. It's number 29. There's a great amount of love and support available to you. Friendship, represented by the infinity symbol, is forever. Trust the bonds you've created with others. Know that the greatest gift you can give is your friendship. It is in giving that we receive the most. Offer your support where you can, and remember to ask for support when you need it. Your friends are the very souls you have chosen to journey with in this lifetime. They are an important part of your growth and learning. Interesting. I'm going to be honest, I think it was group 1, no, group 2. They got this card also, but the message for them was to befriend themselves. This time what I'm getting is the message of like, your inner child needs to know that the people you have around you today are good people. That they are in fact loved by others. That you are loved. So let's get some tarot messages. Yep, there we go. 3 of Cups. That's our friendship card of the tarot. Good relationships surround you today. That there are people who love you and genuinely care about you. Emperor, King of Cups. Interesting. When you were a child, I'm just seeing, for maybe not for all of you, but this is just a general thing I'm seeing. For some of you, when you were a child, perhaps you did have lots of friends, but maybe you had somebody around you that was terribly bossy. That they called the shots and they decided how you felt about something. They decided what your opinions should be. They maybe decided what you wore or didn't wear. They decided what your social standing was with the others around you your age at that time. Maybe some of you, and this is not a criticism or anything like that, but maybe some of you were actually quite popular in school, or you were in the popular group, or you were in some kind of a clique that was, I'm going to say, in the hierarchy of your school or your whatever community that you were in at the time, was quite up there, on the social ladder. But as a result, with King of Cups, you perhaps, I'm not saying that you were necessarily a mean girl or a mean guy, but like maybe some of the people that you hung out with were actually quite critical or were quite insensitive is the word I'm getting. And maybe you felt like it wasn't safe for you to act kindly to others, or for you to be genuine with your emotions. Because there's this really, really bossy influence here that is like stopping you in your tracks, that is like dictating the way you express your feelings. And your inner child really, really wants to know if the people around you are good people. You may have also, I'm getting something about overcompensating. And maybe that was really exhausting. Like if you were in a friend group, let's say some kids that maybe they were bullies, maybe they just were kind of snobby, maybe they, whatever, right? Maybe they just weren't always that kind to others who were different than them, or just not in their social group or social standing. You had to overcompensate by making excuses for this person. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that she said that to you. Like, oh, that's just how she is. Oh, she's just really bossy. Or, oh, she probably just misunderstood what you meant. Or, what she was trying to say, or what he was trying to say was X, Y, and Z. And you were the one that seemed like you were doing all the PR, you know, for this friend that you had that was very influential, but also very bossy and very, I think you were often embarrassed by this person's behavior. And you were always like, oh, like trying to clean up their social messes. That would be exhausting. And it's almost like that became your role within that group, was like the lightning rod. You absorbed the backlash or whatever from other people based on what this friend or these friends were doing. You were the one that always had to get them out of trouble. So what about for your adult life? Well, you don't have these people around you anymore. Or you just don't have this kind of influence around you anymore. Like there's the Fool card, that's the moving on. But it's more of a like a big moving on chapter. Perhaps after high school, you all went to separate colleges or universities, or you didn't go, or, you know, whatever. Your paths just all diverged from each other. But your inner child is, or your inner child, your inner teenager is still left with the emotional baggage, I think, that came with being in such a group of friends, or such a group of people. But there's a need to remind yourself and to remind your inner child, well, those days are behind us. We've moved on to a different chapter. We're a different person now. Emperor, offset by the Temperance card. Yeah, they really dictated you being in this group or with this person. Like, really, really did a number on you. I'm going to say emotionally, mentally, psychologically. We have a lot of cups here, a lot of an emotional impact on you. Perhaps you went so long feeling you couldn't be genuine about your feelings that you kind of forgot how to be genuine or how to be honest about your feelings. But this is healing. The more time you've spent away from that bossy, overbearing influence, the more you've been able to heal. So perhaps it's worth reminding yourself, and your inner child is yourself. So reminding yourself and reminding your inner child, like, no, it's been many years since we've seen this person. You know, we're not around her anymore. We're not around him anymore. They don't dictate what I'm going to wear. They don't dictate what I'm going to do. But maybe that, we all have kind of an inner critic voice. Perhaps that person, their voice or echoes of their words they've said to you still play in your mind as part of that inner critic. And that's healing. You are healing from it. Spirit wants me to use the bottom of the deck for this last one with the Two of Cups. There are good people now in your life, and I'm also getting that there will be more good people in your life to come, genuine friendships, genuine connections, where you are free to be real with each other. Because it seems like who you were around in your early years, not really a true friend, but it sucks because sometimes in childhood, the friends we have are basically just because of proximity, because your desk was near theirs or your locker was near theirs, or you had your lunch breaks at the same time, or because you went to a really small school and they were literally the only other person or the only other people that were available that were your age to hang out with. Or, there are many different reasons why kids end up being tangled up in friendships or social groups with those who are not actually very good or kind to them. But as an adult, you now have the power to surround yourself with people that you do vibe with, that it's not just because you spend 8 hours a day together. And maybe that's why, maybe you have some work friends and that's how you became friends, but you also have the ability to discern like why you're friends with someone. If it's just because you're forced to be together all the time, or if it's because you actually like each other and want to know each other and you care about each other's well-being. There's also the message, of course, of befriending yourself and giving yourself permission first. Yes, you can wear that. That's fine. That's, or yes, it's okay to like this. It's okay to create this kind of art. It's okay to pursue this educational path. It's okay to be interested in this. That's not cringe. That's not embarrassing. Or, like just that there's nothing to be ashamed of about yourself that is going to drive away a person who really is a true friend, who loves you and cares about you and respects you. The people you were around when you were young did not truly respect you, but your inner child will really, really benefit from you reminding them that now you do have people around you that care about you and love you, and that you have the power to change who is or isn't around you. That your survival, your safety does not depend on what other people think of you, does not depend on your popularity or your social standing within your, your school or your community, etc. That it's safe. Your inner child just really wants you to know, like first of all, they want you to know that you deserve to have good people around you. They want you to know that the influence you had around you socially when you were young was not necessarily healthy for you. They want you to know that they still, and your inner child is you, that there is still a small part of you that does need to be healed. And I think it does have to do with that inner critic. But yeah, the more time you spend around people who do love you and like I've been saying, do respect you, that you do have secure relationships with, being around them and having their influence of love and patience and understanding is really going to help heal you and your inner child when it comes to, your friendships and how you express yourself around your friends, how you want to come across, how you choose to come across, and just how much of an influence you allow other people to have over you now. It's worth telling your inner child, it's okay, I got this under control. We don't let people bully us anymore. I don't hang out with people because I have to. I don't hang out with this person because I'm afraid to. If I don't like someone, I don't like someone. But when somebody does like me and care about me, we stick with them. Okay? So you're not being controlled any longer by that influence from your early years that was bossy, that was just overbearing and tried to dictate everything you did and the way that you appeared to other people. Okay. So this is what I have for you. I hope this message made sense and was helpful to you. I'm really happy to see that you have good people in your life now, that you have a stronger now sense of identity, and you can remind yourself in your inner child that they don't have to be around anyone who is unkind or who doesn't truly appreciate and respect them. You have the power of adulthood, right? You have the power to do things to change your circumstances, a power that your child self probably just did not have back then. Anyways, if you liked this video, you know what to do, like, sub, comment, whatever. Private readings are open throughout the summer, and there is a link in the description if you wanted to book with me. It does link to my Calendly booking page. Once I stop bumping my camera mount, there we go. I will just say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again very, very soon on my channel. All right, bye.